All right, so we are going to discuss about the latest changes which are happening in this thing recently. So let's just start with this. So basically, as we all know that yesterday we have received a huge update from the Pearson regarding the scoring updates and how the scoring works. So as we all know that this is including all the things which are covering the important aspects of the scoring. So let me just have a look at this. All right. So let's have a brief discussion. Like this is going to be discussing about the weightage of the each tasks and then how the scoring algorithm works and the most common beliefs of the people which are not true. So we are going to discuss about all that things, and after the end of this discussion, we can have a brief question and answer sessions. If you have any questions, you can drop that in the chat box, and after this entire explanation, I will answer your queries. So let's have a look at this. Basically, as you know, this thing is going to cover six important uh, key facts which are going to be useful for you. The first thing is going to be talking about the scoring fundamentals, like how it is being scored. Then the scoring model will be displayed, like how it will be doing the scoring as per the Pearson, and then weightage of all the tasks and how it is being calculated. Then the most common facts which are not true has been answered from the Pearson. And then after results, if you are not satisfied with the result, what you can do to improve your scores or to check whether it has been marked properly or not. Those are the process which can use. And then finally, my recommendations for you will be discussed at the end. So let's start with the basic thing. We are going to talk about the scoring fundamentals. Now, as we all know that Pearson test of English is being evaluated with AI as well as with the human evaluation. So if we know that PTE Academic is scored on a basis of 10 to 90 and an overall score is also provided, it utilizes the automated scoring as well as human scoring, and this is widely recognized. As we know that this is used for majority of the countries, like 3,900 plus global institutions recognize this test for study visa, as well as you know that PT Academic is useful for permanent residency for Australia, and also it is being used for Canadian immigration as well for PTE core. So today we are only going to focus about the PT Academic because these changes are only limited for PT Academic. We are not going to discuss about the PTE core. So basically, many of the times people think that some people believe that the scorings are equally distributed for all of the four skills, whereas that is not the correct case. You will be having the scorings differences depending on the importance of each of the tasks and the skills are analyzed. Okay, so basically, if you see that essay has more writing comprehension, so at that time, essay has more importance to the writing task only, but not to the overall score. So if you are get losing your marks in writing, that is only because of essay. It is not going to impact that much to an overall score. Okay, so you have to understand that each question has its own overall score capability as well as their individual score capability as well. So you have to understand what kind of skill gives you marks for both overall as well as for individual skills as well. So that is the one thing. Many of the people believe that all of these things are given equal percentages, which is not the correct way. Then coming to the next thing, uh, normally question scorings are dependent on different kinds of scenarios. The first thing is that avoiding points. How many marks are awarded to what kind of question? As we know that we have correct and incorrect answer, as well as we have partial crediting scoring system. So we have to understand that if we are giving a proper answer, we are going to get 1 marks. And if we are going to give wrong answer, we are going to lose that 1 mark. But again, at the end of the day, maximum you can get is still zero. It will never be in negative. So no matter what kind of question you get, make sure that you are trying to do that without any doubt. Okay, at least attempt that question. You never know if it is going to be correct or wrong. You have to try your level best to see that you are doing your best shot. Okay, because even 1 mark can help you get your desired score, and even with that 1 mark, you may lose your desired score. So never take that risk and try your level best to be 100% accurate in answering your responses. If the time permits, try to answer each and every question to get better marks. Then we have another system that is partial credit system. As you know, we have highlight incorrect words, right? So if we do that thing, like if we select any incorrect answer as well, we will still get some marks. So that is what it is important. You have to understand and focus on those tasks like multiple choice, multiple answers, highlight incorrect words. These are also having negative marking. So you have to understand that this is really important to score high. Then the most important thing is scoring gatekeepers. That is nothing but your content as well as form. If you are answering anything which is not at all matching with the provided prompt, you are not going to get any marks for that task. So it is really important. You might have seen many of the times people getting good scores in all the tasks, but in the speaking, they lose their marks heavily. The only reason is because they are not talking as per the provided image, maybe in the describe image, or maybe they are not speaking related to the discussion, which is summarized script discussion. So in that way, if you are not answering according to the provided question, definitely you are going to lose your marks. Then the next thing is form. As you know, sometimes people do this thing that they write very less words, okay, or they may write only one single paragraph for the entire essay, which is the wrong way to answer an essay task. And that is why people end up losing their scores. When they rectify that issue and when they separately break down each and every paragraph separately, that will definitely give them better marks. So always make sure that while you are answering your essay, you have to understand that you have to give a proper introduction, then you have to talk about a body paragraph, then you have to talk about body paragraph 2, and finally you have to talk about the conclusion. Without that thing, definitely you are not going to get better marks. So content and form, these are the most important factors which can determine what kind of score you are going to get in the real exam. If you are not going to take care of that thing, definitely you are going to lose your marks. So make sure that you are not making that kind of mistake. Okay. Then comes a integrated skills. As we know that we have a lot of tasks which are integrated. In your PT exam, if you see repeat sentence, it is going to give you marks for listening as well as for your speaking. The same thing is also with your summarized group discussion. It also gives you marks for listening and speaking. The same is also for your retail lecture, listening and speaking. Summarize written text, it is going to give you marks for reading and writing. Then we have our summarized spoken text. Again, this is going to give you marks for listening and writing. Highlight incorrect words, listening and reading. Write from dictation, listening and writing. So all of these tasks are integrated with each other. So if you do these tasks perfectly, then definitely you are going to see improvement in two of your skills. So you have to understand that focusing a lot on these tasks can help you get that basic score. Okay, if your target is for competent score, you can easily get that just by focusing on the integrated skills. You don't have to work on all the tasks. So you have to understand and utilize this for the level best. Then if you try to, this thing is clearly going to show you like how you are normally going to perform, how your language skill is. So it is going to give you a clear understanding of how you are at the level of your English usage. So this is really important. Then coming to the next thing, now, as you know, a lot of time people have been saying this thing that previously it was not clearly known. It was only being provided with the help of this platform scorings that they were able to get a small guidance that, okay, if I'm making mistake in extended writing, I may have made mistakes in my summarized written text essay or summarized spoken text. But this was still in speculation. We were not entirely sure whether that is the only task which is being recognized or not. But recently, like yesterday itself, Pearson has released this thing. And as you can see, all the things have been very much clear here. If you see here, open response, speaking and writing includes describe myths, read a lecture, summarize group discussion, respond to situation, summarize written text, essay writing, and summarize spoken text. Whereas when you see to reproducing spoken and written language, you are able to see read aloud, repeat sentence, and write from dictation. Excellent writing, as you know, as we have also been discussing a lot in the group as well, summarize written text, essay writing, and summarize spoken text. Only three tasks are considered now for excellent writing. For short writing, it is giving you marks from write from dictation. Previously, it also included your reading, writing fill in the blanks as well as your listening fill in the blanks. But after 7th of August, these two tasks has been removed and now you are only going to get marks from your write from dictation. Coming to the extended speaking, a lot of times you might have seen people getting losing their marks in extended speaking. The reason is because they might have messed up in their desk image, retail lecture, summarize group discussion, or respond to situation. They are not able to properly cover all the important aspects of the provided image or lecture, or they are not able to describe about the situation properly. That is why they are losing their marks. Coming to the short speaking, you have read aloud and repeat sentence, which is going to give you marks for a short speaking. Then comes here multiple skills comprehension. As you know, the word itself clearly shows that this is going to include multiple skills. That means, in short, it is talking about the integrated skills. So if you focus on only this multiple skills comprehension, you are going to boost up your marks a lot. And what are those skills? As we already know, repeat sentence, read a lecture, summarize script discussion, summarize written text, summarize spoken text. Highlight text summary also gives you marks for reading. So make sure that you are doing that correct. Then we have highlight incorrect words. And finally, your write from dictation. If you just focus on these multiple skills comprehension tasks, you are easily going to reach that competent scores. If your target is for proficient, you have to add some more important tasks. And if your target is for superior scores, definitely you have to do all the tasks with full perfection. And then finally, a lot of time you might have seen people losing their scores in single skill comprehension. So what are the things covered in the single skill? Previously, answer short question was also in the multiple skills. But because answer short question is now no longer giving you marks for speaking, it is only giving you marks for listening. That is why you can see answer short question in the single skill comprehension. Then we have respond to situation. Again, this is just a speaking task. You don't have to worry about that. Then we have fill in the blanks. All the different kinds of fill in the blanks are covered in this thing. Drop down and your drag and drop and your reorders all are going to be in this thing. Then we have multiple choice, multiple answer, multiple choice, single answer. Both listening and reading both will be present here. Previously, we were going to get marks for listening fill in the blanks, typing fill in the blanks for writing as well. But now it is only giving you marks for listening. It is no longer giving you marks for your writing. So that is why it is being transferred to single skill comprehension. Then we have select missing word. Again, this is also a listening task only. It is no longer giving you marks for your other task. Okay, so in this way, we can clearly understand now that this is the accurate scoring. These are the accurate tasks which are involving in this thing. So if you let's imagine you are going to lose your marks in your extended writing. Immediately you can look at this thing and you can understand that okay, I might have made mistake in essay writing, if you are 100% sure about your summarized written text and spoken text. If you are having losing your marks in extended speaking, you can immediately recollect how you did your performance in the real exam. Whether you are read a lecture, summarize group discussion, and respond to situation. If all of these things went perfectly fine and you were doubtful about your describe image, you can fix that thing and get your desired scores by the next time. So in this way, you have to understand and implement the things properly and practice accordingly. Then coming to the next thing, advanced scoring model of the Pearson. Basically, your scores are not equally distributed throughout your task. Each and every task will have its own method of scoring, which is determined by the Pearson. For example, you might have seen that people who are making mistakes in the repeat sentence once or twice, they still get 90 in their speaking and listening. Why do you think that happens? If a person is missing something, they should lose their scores. But that is not the case. This is mostly because it, the Pearson also analyzes the question difficulty, and based on that only you are going to get marks equally distributed according to the importance of the task. So if you are getting easy ones and if you are able to perform that 100% accurately, but if you are unable to perform the task of difficulty levels for the longer sentences, definitely that will be ignored. If you are doing easy and medium perfectly fine, and if you are doing one or two difficult sentences in the wrong way, definitely you are going to get full marks still for that task. So you have to understand that it entirely depends on the question difficulty as well as the number of questions present in the real exam. On an average, in a PT academic test, you will see 65 to 75 questions. So based on that, the scores will be divided. Then question difficulty, as I said, easy, medium, and difficult, it will be based on that clearly. Then we have question weighting. That means how it is giving you marks for your overall scores as well as for your individual skills. And then which of that task is directly related for your real world communication skills. So if that is good, then definitely you are going to get better marks. So you have to understand that what are the important tasks and what are the multiple skills tasks, and then finally, which is directly relating to the real life communication skills. You have to understand these things. Based on this only, Pearson gives you proper scoring. Then coming to the next thing, we have the key question weightage analysis. As you can see here, describe image is only giving you marks for your speaking, which is 31%. But this has most important on the overall weight, that is 15%. So that means easily you are going to get at least 18% scores in the overall scores just from the describe image task. Whereas if you see write essay, although it has writing weightage of 31%, but still to the overall scoring it is just giving you 7%, which is clearly showing that the overall weightage is different. And because describe image is more frequently used in the real world scenario, that is why you are getting 15% for that. Okay. Whereas if you see here, you have write essay. We don't use writing language in everyday language, right? We don't use writing skills in your everyday communication. So that is why you are having lesser overall weight. Coming to the repeat sentence, this is also not always used. So that is why we are only going to get 17% and for the speaking, and we are going to get overall weightage for repeat sentences 7%. Summarized written text is again going to give you 28 marks for your writing, whereas if you see the overall weightage is still 7%. Then read aloud, as you know, speaking weightage is 9%, but if you see the overall weightage is 4%. So that is the importance of identifying which task is going to give you good marks in your real life communication skills. Then coming to the next thing, as we know that we have been discussing a lot regarding the scoring criteria for each and every task. As you see, we have all these things present here. Read aloud is going to give you 9% marks for your speaking, which is going to give you 4% overall. Then we have repeat sentence, which is going to give you 16% in your speaking, 17% in your listening, and overall scoring is 7%. So in that way, you can just clearly go through all these things and you will get a clear idea. So depending on the importance of the task, you can see the scorings are differing. As you can see, the highest is still being given to your describe is. Then we have the next important percentage is 9%, which is summarize script discussion. Then we have 7%, which is going to your repeat sentence. And then all are around this 6% only. So in that way, you can understand which is the most important task and where you have to give your full focus on. Then coming to the next thing, overall score is not an average. Like a lot of people say that, sir, I'm getting some 65, 72 and something 82 and 65, something like that. And my overall scores is not matching with the average of all these things. So that is not the case. Overall score is not at all calculated based on average of the task. It is depending entirely on your performance on each and every task and how you are performing individually and how it is being contributed for your real life communication skills as well as how much they are impactful in improving your English language skills. Based on that, it is calculated. So calculating a simple average of the four skills will not reflect the correct overall scorings. Integrated skills are only counted once towards the overall skills. So if you see extended response questions are given more importance in the overall scoring because that clearly gives you comprehension of the language skill of the student. So based on that, you can understand that extended response questions like summarize script discussion, describe image, essay writing, or you can say summarize written text, summarize spoken text. All these are extended writing responses. So these are going to give you better scores because these are analyzing your real life communication skills and your understanding. So based on that only, your overall scores are calculated. Let's see how the scorings are depending in your overall scoring. So if you see here on the left hand side, we are getting overall score, which is giving you the option of overall scoring. So if you see all these tasks are given only once time, it is not getting repeated anyway. Whereas if you see those things, here we have summarized group discussion, here we have summarized group discussion. And then here we have write from dictation. Again, here we have write from dictation. So in this single separate kind of graphs, we are able to see things getting repeated twice or thrice. Whereas if you see your overall score, it is going to calculate each and everything only once. So if you are going to do all these important tasks in one single time, you are going to get maximum marks. If you see here, till reorder paragraphs, you are going to achieve 90 marks. That means if you are doing all these tasks perfectly fine, then you are easily going to get 90 marks in the real exam. Even if you skip listening MCQs, reading MCQs, highlight correct summary, and then single answers in the multiple choice, select missing words, and then answer short questions. These things are not so important. Even without these seven tasks, you can still get perfect 90s. So overall score is calculated based on this performance. So if you are doing this thing perfectly fine, then definitely you are going to get higher overall scores, even if you are losing your marks in say individual tasks. So that is what you have to understand because the overall scores are calculated based on your real life communication skills as well as your overall command on the language, not on the perfection of each and every task. Whereas if you see listening, reading, speaking, and writing, these are going to calculate your perfection. So that is why sometimes overall scores will be higher than your each and uh, every other individual scorings. Coming to the next thing. So Pearson has recently released these 9 questions, which are really helpful for understanding the scoring criteria of your Pearson. So if you see the first thing as we have discussed, overall average myth. Like a lot of people say that the it is not an average of four skills. It is completely depending on your real life communication skills. Then some people believe that 90 in all means your graph should be 100% accurate in your skills profile, whereas that is not always the case. Even a person losing a few marks here and there, if he is losing their graphs somewhere here and there, they will still get 90 in all. That is only because they are very good at their real life communication skills. Based on that only, they are getting 90, even though they are not perfect in all the tasks. So that is you have to understand that it is not going to look at your mastery of the task, but rather it is looking at how genuine your response is and how easily you are able to use your language. Then coming to the next thing, profile bar scale. As you see, a full bar is not always a diagnostic tool and not a score of 90. So you have to understand that, as I've said, profile bar just gives you an understanding of where you are possibly making mistake. But that doesn't mean that if you are going to get full 100% skills profile, you are going to get 90 overall. That is not the correct case. You have to understand that it is completely depending on how you are utilizing the skills to get maximum marks. Then coming to the next thing, coming fourth and fifth belief are predicting scores. So as you see, many of the times people only use that marking criteria and believe that, okay, this is if I do this thing perfectly fine, you are going to get better marks. Whereas that is not the case. It also considers the difficulty level of each of the questions, and based on that only you are going to get marks. Sometimes we might have also seen people losing their scores and their write from dictation. They may not be able to write it 100% accurately, but still they will be getting full marks in the real exam. So the reason is only because they are really good at what they are doing. And even if they are missing a few things here and there, that is completely acceptable. You might have seen many YouTubers telling that they have skipped two to three repeat sentence, they have missed one right from dictation, but still after the result they get, they will still get 90. And people believe that, okay, if you are going to make that mistake, you are still going to get 90, which is not always the case. The reason why YouTubers will get perfect 90s even while messing up the things is only because they have done all the other tasks with full perfection, and that is why they are going to get better scores. Then coming to the next thing, negative points. You have to understand that multiple choice, multiple answers, and your highlight correct summary, highlight incorrect words. These three tasks like MCQ multiples and MCQ multiples in listening and reading and highlight incorrect words. Three of these tasks has negative marking. So you have to understand that this is really important to score high. Only select the ones which you are perfectly sure of, otherwise don't take it. Okay, but still the least you can get is 0. You will not get negative marking. Then seventh thing is scores from the partially practiced tests are distorted. So that is why I always say do not take section mock test. Always go with the full mock test on alpha PT. Then only you will get a clear understanding of how you are performing overall. If you are making that mistake that you are only going to consider that I want to check only essay writing and you are skipping all of the tasks, you are not going to get a clear understanding. Even with the section mock test as well, you are not going to get a clear understanding. To understand how you are going to perform in the real exam, it is always necessary that you practice in the full length mock test. Okay, only that will give you clear image of how you are performing your exam. Then comes the last logic. A score changes after a rescore reflects human judgment importance. Okay, it is not telling that the original AI score was incorrect. It is only that the human gives you more evaluation and that is going to give you more accurate scoring. Coming to the next thing, what can be the three things that can be done after the uh, post results are released? So the first thing you can do is technical reviews. As you can see, a lot of people sometimes they say that, sir, the screen was flickering, or the audio was breaking in the middle, or sometimes the keyboard was not working. So in that kind of cases, you have to go with the technical review, and if definitely the things will be analyzed at the back end, like the audio was crackling at that time to that student, or whether the person was facing any issues, they will check the camera recording of that student. And based on that, if the people were not able to recognize, respond to the candidate properly, definitely they will get the chance for technical review. And once that happens, you will get the complete full refund of the exam as well as your technical review fees as well. I guess it is around 50 USD. So I can have a look at that. Then the second thing is human rescore. As you know, a lot of time people go for rescoring. The first thing is that in the first analysis, while the score is being analyzed, it is completely being scored by AI plus human. But when you go for rescoring, it is completely being analyzed by human rescoring, and only checks your open-ended response questions. Okay, it will only check that kind of things like it describe image and your retail lecture, summarize script discussion, your essay writing, summarize written text, summarize spoken text, and these kind of tasks will only be evaluated. Based on that only, your scores will be changed. MCQs and the fixed kind of responses will not be evaluated. Only these things are evaluated. Then appeal process. Appeal process is only used for checking whether the method was followed properly or not. It doesn't give you any kind of changes in your scoring. So it is not so useful. Only two things are useful, technical review and human rescore. So you have to understand at what kind of thing you have to do which kind of review. That will be helpful for you to get a free retest voucher from Pearson, or you may get even full test refund fee as well as with the technical review refund as well. So you have to understand this thing. All right. Then coming to the next thing, when you go for rescoring, it will analyze that human rescoring will be done, and usually two human raters will be there. After the two raters, third person will be brought in to check and analyze whether they both have the same opinion or not. It is only being scored by AI. It is only being scored by humans. It will not include AI. So you have to understand this thing. Whatever you get after rescore, that replaces the older scoring. So you have to understand that thing. So why do the changes happen in your exam after the rescore? That is only because of the basic things that a human focus on, which is usually being ignored by the AI sometimes. So in that way, the scores may differ. Then coming to the next thing, what you can do as a test taker. You have to understand that you have to set realistic expectations, that you have to understand that it focuses more on the real life communication skills rather than just question mastery. Then avoid doing reverse engineering. That is, if I am doing this repeat sentence, I will be getting this scores. Forget about that thing. Instead, focus on making your skills perfect. Then ensure consistent effort. You have to do that task every single day, and only then you are only going to see the improvement. If you are not being consistent in your efforts, definitely you are not going to get good scores. Use official resources, mostly Pearson preparation methods are very helpful in getting good scores. Apart from that, you can also use Alpha PT platform as it is very accurate in scoring. People who are doing the practice in the correct way, they will always get better marks. Then coming to the last thing, that is at the end of the day, still improving your skills is the most important fact. Without that, definitely you are not going to see any kind of improvement in your scores. All right, let's answer a few questions. So Fawad has asked, so it means the overall scoring got better, especially in writing. So the writing essay template is all okay. Yes, you can still use the essay template, provided that you are adding proper content. Without proper content, you are not going to get better marks. It is really important that you include proper content, meaningful sentences, and then only you will be able to get better scores. Overall scores depend mostly on your integrated task, which includes your real life communication skills, which shows that you are able to communicate and you are able to understand the things properly and you are good at your English language usage. So this usually includes the extended speaking tasks and your extended writing task, which is your describe image, retell lecture, summarize group discussion, respond to situation, summarize written text, summarize spoken text, and your essay writing. These seven tasks are going to give you more weightage to your overall scoring, as well as this is also going to be analyzed only by the human rater when you go for rescoring. Rest of the other tasks are not usually considered for your rescoring. So if you are doing these tasks perfectly fine, seven tasks, definitely you can see improvement after your rescore, as well as your overall scores will also be dependent mostly on these tests. Okay, so that is what you have to understand. These are the latest updates which we have received yesterday itself. So hopefully you might also see them on the Pearson website soon. So you can have a look at that to get a more brief understanding. The document is about 20 pages. So you can have a look at that and you will get more insights on this. Whatever the important things are there, I have already explained that in detail in front of you. Rest, you can have a look at that. If anyone has any more questions, we still have around few more minutes. We can answer that. Okay. If anyone can have any question, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. We still have 1 more minute. I can take one more question.
सलामकुम भाई। अच्छा, ये पूछना था कि राइटिंग एसेज वगैरह के लिए कुछ इसमें चेंजेस हैं उसके रिलेटेड, क्योंकि वैसे भी अल्फ़ा पीटी पे लिख रहे हैं तो कंटेंट के रिलेटेड ना। तो कंटेंट ऑटोमेटिक पहले वही चीज़ लिखते थे तो कंटेंट अब पूरा आता था, अभी कंटेंट कम आता है, तो उसमें वो
Okay.
रियल एग्जाम में भी।
Right. So basically, there are no changes in your essay writing task. Only thing is that you have to understand that you are writing the sentence properly and you are answering as per the provided question. If it is asking about the advantages and disadvantages, whereas in your response, your template has only agreement and disagreement kind of words, definitely you are not going to get marks. You have to answer the prompt in a very accurate manner and you have to give genuine responses. It should not be like a study reveals that thing, which is not at all going to match with the provided topic. So whatever answers you are going to give, that should be accurately matching with the topic, then you will get your scores.